You know, anime fandom really is beautiful. It can bring people together from all over the world. Being in a fandom can uplift the soul, create friendships and bonds that last for a lifetime. However, sometimes it can be one of the most toxic things on the planet. Below I have listed 7 of the worst anime fan bases, in my opinion of course. Now if you don't see a fan base that you think is awful on this list, it doesn't mean that I think they're good, I just might not know enough about them, or I just don't think they're as bad as the ones on the list. I'm also not saying that everybody in these fan bases is bad, come on now, be honest. I'm talking about the segment of that population that is terrible and we all know they're terrible. I'm talking about the extremists. Some fan bases just have more extremists than others, thus why they're on this list. Now, without further ado, my name is DJC Universe, and welcome to my video. Yes, even good anime can have bad fan bases. As a proud member of the One Piece fandom, I have to admit that our fans, and sometimes myself, do a bit too much. Whether it be looking down on other anime, taking time out of our day to tell you about how amazing One Piece is, especially when you didn't ask for it, and of course letting you know about the amazing story that is One Piece. Us One Piece fans can be pretty annoying and very exhausting. I don't put us higher on this list because in general, I think One Piece fans will admit that they can get pretty annoying. I also must say that for as much crap as we dish out, we take just as much. I'm talking about when people say, hey, One Piece is long. When is One Piece gonna end? I admit, most One Piece fans will tell you straight up, yeah, it is long, it is tough, and of course there is the segment of our fandom that will throw a fit and yell at you, but overall, I think our fans are pretty grounded and down to earth. You gotta give me a break on this one because I am 110% biased. This isn't the only fandom on the list that I'm a part of, but it's probably the one I am the strongest member of at this point in time. Number 6, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Alright, now this has to be one of the cringiest fan bases out there. Now, I've watched some JoJo's, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. But the fan base was a very, very, very big turnoff to me. They make it seem like it's the greatest thing ever, which is fine, don't get me wrong. You should love your anime. It's just, they're almost offended when you don't understand that it's not the greatest thing ever. Most importantly, if you mention anything related to the show at all, they're going to tell you about it. And I'm not talking about, like, plot points. I'm not saying, hey, what happened in episode 7? I'm talking about, hey, did you hear this song by Queen? Or just mentioning Queen, or bringing up Queen, or playing anything that is, Another One Bites the Dust. They're going to tell you about it endlessly and then mention JoJo. If you're still struggling to see how that could be annoying, let me give you this comparison. You know the game Fortnite? You know how Fortnite owns everything and everything is in Fortnite? Now imagine if, let's just say, your favorite character, anime character or whatever, let's just say for purposes, was in Fortnite, and that's how the vast majority of the world knew him, as just the character from Fortnite. Now on one hand, you would be happy that your character's getting recognition, and on the other hand, you would be irritated that he has been demoralized into just another character into a game. That's how it can get with JoJo fans. Other things in the world are just demoralized into something as a part of JoJo. And this doesn't even go to talk about how everything's a meme and a reference. Everything is not a meme, everything is not a reference, and every joke they say is nowhere near as funny as they think it is. Number 5, Attack on Titan. So a couple years ago, I would have put this fan base in the top 3, but since the show has continued to drag on, and spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, you should skip the next 10 seconds if you do not want to be spoiled on anything here. I'm not even going to be talking directly about the show, I just don't want anybody to be upset saying that you didn't know that. Let's just say since the end of Attack on Titan in the manga was very underwhelming, a lot of the hype has died down. But still, what makes them so bad? Well, let's see, sending death threats to the show's creators because they didn't like a soundtrack that was used during the final season that is on part 3, 4, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about it, but moving on, death threats to the creator is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely shameful. There is no reason to ever send the creators of anime a death threat. I really don't care what they did. You don't have to stoop that low. There's no point to it. That alone should put them in this list. Among that, getting from more morbid things to more normal things, they have the usual thing of shoving the hype down your throat, not understanding that there are other anime out there. However, I think it's just the rabidness of them. Their passion is ridiculous sometimes. Granted, as I said before, they're not as bad as they used to be because the show's kind of fallen off and the manga's kind of, I won't get into it, but still, they definitely deserve to be here. Number 4, Fairy Tail. I'll make this quick. This show sucks. Stop being a fan of the show. This show is not good. Stop rubbing this show into other people's faces. Stop hyping the characters. It's not that fun. It's got a few good openings, and honestly, the fights are average. That you may enjoy this show, but you need to understand you enjoy a bad show. So stop putting it up there. Stop saying it's great. People used to try to argue that it was a big 3 when there was no chance in hell it was. Stop. Number 3, Naruto. Or Little DBZ as I call it. I love this show. Don't get me wrong. I love Naruto. But sometimes its fans can be wildly out of touch with anime on the whole. First, every new shonen anime is automatically compared to Naruto by them and then called a Naruto rip-off if it doesn't meet their standards, which magically it never does. Even great shows are not immune from this. Shows such as Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer have all been called Naruto rip-off by Naruto fans. I legitimately seen Naruto fans go on the record and do anything they possibly can to put down any other anime other than Naruto. I don't even know if I need to talk about this entry as much because they're so understood. There's a nickname for them that I'm just not going to say because I'm not trying to offend nobody. I barely have enough subscribers as it is. However, we all know what I'm talking about. Number 2, My Hero Academia. By far the cringiest fan base on this list. And don't get me wrong, I like My Hero. It's a very good show. But there's a certain section of this fan base that's simply just too much, like sending death threats to the show's creators too much. Now, threatening the show's creators is low, but some may argue that's just a small 1 or 2 people from the fan base and shouldn't reflect the entire community. That's a fair point, I'll give you that. However, what has always been more than just a few people is all the shipping. If you don't know what shipping or shippers are, they're fans that want certain characters in romantic relationships. Harmless at first, but it can become truly toxic. In small packages, it really isn't that bad. It's a good way to fire up a fan base. It gets people going. I would say look at the Twilight series for a good example of shipping. Edward, Jacob, all that other junk. But with My Hero, it's simply just too aggressive. I mean, their fans ship everything. And mind you, these are kids we were talking about in the show. And screw it. I might even get canceled for this, but straight up, the issue is usually fans of yaoi, which once again is completely fine on its own. I have no issues with the genre, but sometimes these fans, they take characters who are straight or there's no real signs of them being gay and they make them gay. For example, I see things all the time with All Might and Deku. Deku is a child, All Might is a grown man. That's inappropriate. Then these people, they get upset when you tell them that the relationship that they are trying to ship just doesn't exist. This is a show about children, and I'm sorry, but the amount of people that live some type of weird relationship fantasy through them is not okay. It's wrong. Don't take my word for it. Please, go online and look up clips of My Hero fans at conventions or Comic-Cons or whatever and witness all the cringe that you're about to see. Number 1, the Dragon Ball series. I can honestly sum this up with the phrase,
"Can they be Goku?"
Which for decades now has been one of the most annoying lines to hear in all of anime, but it just seems like a portion of this fan base, they just like Dragon Ball, but they don't really like anime. And that's fine, honestly. If you like Dragon Ball, you can like Dragon Ball. But don't pretend just because you watch DBZ that you're just some super anime fan and you're really into anime and that every other anime out there is just lesser than Dragon Ball, because nothing will ever be better than Dragon Ball. They're just mainly because there are certain characters out there that can beat Goku that honestly I have an issue with the line, "Can they beat Goku?" though. Yes, there's tons of people out there that can actually beat Goku. You should probably shut up. They're number 1 because their fans are just so many. There's so many of them that believe this. There might be other fan bases out here that do far more toxic things. For example, nothing is worse than death threats to your creator or sexualizing, young kids. But I have to put DBZ first in a weird way because I feel like they're the OGs of toxic anime fan bases. They're the largest, they're the oldest that I can think of. They're the first to really be obnoxious about it and in your face. From that, I think they're kind of grandfathered in into the number 1 spot until something else catches it. Who knows? Chainsaw Man might be up there pretty soon. Either way, I'm DJC Universe. Let me just say, I like pretty much every anime on the show. Don't take this seriously. This is not, I repeat, This is not me saying the entire fan bases are bad. No, 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 far from it. I am simply looking at the worst part of these fan bases. All of them. These are great shows. I enjoy most of the fan bases. I consider myself part of most of these fan bases, and I've had great conversations with people from these fan bases. This is only the minorities. I'm only saying that because I know how people take things out of context. I thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate everything. I'm really trying to get to 500 subscribers here pretty soon. Small goal, but big goal to me. I thank you all. DJC Universe out.